Hello everyone, welcome back. You know when I pop up on your screen completely barefaced, that means it is tutorial time. Today I'm going to show you how I achieved this look right here using a full face of Pat McGrath. Earlier this year I did a series of one brand tutorials and you all seemed to really enjoy them. So I thought, why not do another one? And I decided on Pat McGrath because when I was filming my most recent Will I Buy It video and discussing the new Pat McGrath Utopian Dream palette and how I wasn't going to purchase it because I don't really use the Pat McGrath palettes I have, I decided to use one. Try it again, see if maybe it's something that I'll use more often. I love Pat McGrath as a brand overall. I do own most of the products, as you'll see here, but for some reason I just never reach for the mothership palettes that I have. So today I'm going to be using the Divine Rose palette. I think I'm going to start with the eyes today, and Pat McGrath does not make an eyeshadow primer, so I'm going to try just using a little bit of her concealer as my primer. As you could see, I just put a little dot on each lid and I'm blending it out with my finger. And I'll either put all of the shade names down below in the description box or perhaps in a caption on the screen. I am going to use Scotch tape for this look, and I always put it on the back of my hand first and then peel it off to get rid of any excess stickiness. If you're new to my channel, to my videos, to my tutorials, I like to use tape because my eyes are hooded and downturned, and I find that this is the easiest way for me to achieve the lifted cat eye look that I prefer. I'm beginning with this shade right here. I'm taking a Morphe M441 brush and I'm just running that through my crease. I like to put my chin up and my eyes looking down into a mirror so I can see my entire lid space. And I think what I'm going to do is just do one eye on camera. Make sure that I like the look before I go ahead and do the other eye. And I think you can see just by doing that, it makes my eyes less hooded. And I'm taking it up a little bit higher than my natural crease. So how I do this is I look directly into the mirror and I push the brush in where my crease would be. Then I raise my brows and look up and kind of go in there and then a little bit higher as well. And then I bring it out towards my temples. Now using a small crease brush, I am going into this brown shade right here. And I am patting that on the outer corners, sort of winging it out towards my temple as well. And then bringing it in. So you notice that I'm not doing a swirling motion, I'm doing a patting motion. And then blending what's left in my crease. And then I'm going back to that first brush and blending out the upper portion. So as you can see, it's almost going all the way up to my brow, but not quite. Then I am going to take a flat shader brush, and I think I'm going to use this sort of shimmering lilac shade, and I'm going to place this in the inner third of my eye, right in here. And then using my finger, I'm going into the shade next to it, which is a mid-tone plum. And I'm just using my finger to apply that to the rest of my lid. And then I'm going back with that smaller crease brush and the dark brown and just touching up. I'm probably going to do this step a couple times just to make sure that the darkness remains over here. Okay, now using my finger, I am going to use this gorgeous shade right here. Let's see if I can describe it for you. It's a yellow gold with a hint of rose in it. Let's see. I'm just gonna pop that right over the center. All right, and now that that's there, I'm going to go back in with that shimmering purple, shimmering lavender, lilac, and touch that up. All right, now what else do I want to do? That's the thing about these palettes, is that they're so gorgeous, you want to use every shade. But, yeah, I just don't know if that's possible. Well, it's not possible, but I guess some people do. I just don't know how far to take it, you know? Am I making any sense at all? I'm not sure, I don't think I am. I think what I'm gonna do is I think I'm going to, why not, just add a little bit of this white sparkle. I could regret this, but we're going for it. I'm just gonna add a tap right in the center. I got sparkles all over my face, but that's fine. That's why we did the eyes first. Okay, I like it. Okay, so the eyeshadow is done. Now I'm gently peeling off the tape. And now I'm going to use the Pat McGrath liquid eyeliner. And by the way, I will be coming back to the palette to finish off the eyes, but let's do some liner. I'm sure I'm not the only one who needs complete silence when doing winged liquid eyeliner. Okay, I'm going to go remove the sparkles from my face and come right back. Now I'm going to curl my lashes and apply mascara. I do not have the Pat McGrath mascara, so I'm just going to be using this one from NARS. So for my face, I am starting with the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Primer. This is a hydrating primer. Now, I actually do not have any moisturizer on. Because I'm oily, I am going to try this primer on its own because it is hydrating. So I want to see how that works, how this foundation looks throughout the day with no moisturizer and just using this primer. And what I'll do is I'll put a caption up on the screen, so while you're watching this, I will have the update for you on how it held up throughout the day right on your screen. So be sure to look down there as I'm applying this. It smells good. I haven't used this in such a long time. It definitely doesn't do anything for my pores, but it doesn't claim to. At least I don't think it claims to. Yes, I know my face gets very red when I rub it. So I don't really see any difference in my skin other than it's red right now. And I still see some sparkles from the eyeshadow. It's very pretty though. I'm loving the shadow. And I think I did a pretty decent job on the wing liner. It doesn't always come out that good. And for foundation, I'm using the Skin Fetish in Light Medium 13. I'm shaking it up pretty well, as you can see. My body is a little bit more tan than my face, which is why I'm going a little bit darker than my natural skin tone. I'm using my Stands Out sponge, as always. This is a very runny foundation, so I do use a couple pumps. And this foundation has light to medium coverage. It is buildable, but it does not build to full. So when I am wanting a foundation that is full coverage, this is not really the one I reach for. It's very skin-like. It doesn't emphasize my pores. It doesn't completely blur them either, but the powder helps with that. It is extremely easy to blend. It comes in a really nice shade range. I do prefer my foundation to have a little bit of yellow in it to counteract that redness, and as you can see, it did do a really good job. It's just a real pretty foundation. It's a pretty finish. It's just the right amount of coverage. Now, if you are oily like me, you are going to need to use a powder and a setting spray for sure. And most likely not the primer that I used. You're going to want to use a mattifying primer or maybe a pore refining primer. The only reason why I'm using this primer is because I'm trying to do a full face of Pat McGrath. The only things I don't have from Pat McGrath that I'm going to use are, well, you already saw the mascara, and Pat McGrath also doesn't make any brow products, so I'll be using something else for that. But other than those two things, I wanted to keep the full face Pat McGrath. Moving on to concealer. This is one of the best concealers, I think, on the market, and it's definitely one of the better ones for mature skin. It's very hydrating. The shade I have is unfortunately a little light for me. I do need to go purchase another one that is a better color. What is this shade? Of course, as usual, I didn't bring my glasses. So when that happens, what I have to do is I have to take a picture and zoom in. This is L5. And of course, with my Pat McGrath concealer, I use my $5 e.l.f. sponge because it's my favorite. So now I am going to use the Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Blurring Powder in Light. And I'm going to use this to set the concealer. So anywhere I apply the concealer, that is where I'm applying the blurring powder, even to the sides of my nose and through here. I have to be totally honest with you, I had completely forgotten about how good this blurring powder is. Oh my goodness, it is really, really nice. I also haven't used this loose powder in a while. This is the Light Medium 2. And I'm gonna take this BK Beauty brush and set the rest of my face. Now, I'm no Pat McGrath expert, but I don't think Pat McGrath makes a bronzer. I just looked on Sephora, I just looked on the Pat McGrath website, and I did not see one. So I am just going to lightly bronze my skin. I know I said I was only using 2 non-Pat products, but I really feel like I need a little bit of contouring. So I'm just going to use this Fenty, and yes, I have already powdered, but I pretty much avoided this area where I am going to be contouring. I'm just gonna contour a little bit here, a little bit here. This is the Fenty Match Sticks in Mocha. And I'm just going to lift my cheekbones a little bit. We all have our habits that we can't quite stop doing. And by the way, if you don't have this IT Cosmetics brush, this Heavenly Luxe brush number 7, I think it is, you must, I insist. It is such a great brush for applying foundation, for blending out contour. I just love it. And then I use the small side for my nose. And now I'm going back to the eyes, and I'm taking my favorite little pencil brush from Rephr. It's the number 03. And I'm going into that first shade that we used, and I'm running that along the lower lash lines. And then I'm also using the darker brown that we used on the outer corners, and I'm running that along the outer portion of my lower lash line. And then unfortunately my camera went out for this portion, but I just applied a little brown pencil eyeliner to my inner rims. And now with a clean pencil brush, I am going into this shimmering ivory shade right here and popping that right in my tear ducts. So I went ahead and did my brows with a little Ulta brow tint and a NYX brow pen. And now I'm using a little bit of that Pat McGrath concealer on a synthetic brush, just the tiniest amount, and carving out my brows and bringing a little bit of lightness to that area. Then I just use my finger to soften it. For blush, since I used the Divine Rose eyeshadow palette, I thought I would use the Divine Rose blush. So I'm going a little bit higher up on my cheeks and draping the blush, which means that I am bringing it all the way up through my temples, just to give my face a more lifted appearance. And then for highlight, I'm using this highlighting trio. Look how beautiful that is. And I think I'm going to use the one in the center. It has a little bit of a golden sheen to it. It's so pretty. And I think that ties in to the gold sheen that's on the eyes. I'm actually going to put a little bit of that under the brow too. Oh, I've forgotten how pretty this is as well. I'm so glad I did this video because I am finding things that I forgot that I loved. All right, I just need to add some lips. For my lips, I'm lining with one of my favorite Pat McGrath lip pencils. Actually, it probably is my favorite Pat McGrath lip pencil. It is called Contour. So I'm lining and filling in almost my entire lip. And then I'm using the lip gloss in Sunset Rose on top. So this is the completed look. I did add on some corner lashes as usual. I have to say this is one of my most favorite looks that I've done in quite a while. I encourage everyone to shop their stash and look for products that they have neglected for a long time. I am super excited now to use this palette again, actually to do this whole look again. The Pat McGrath blushes are just so good. This is my third purchase. I have Nude Venus, I have Cherish, and then Divine Rose I just bought the other day. And then I'm really liking the foundation. I forgot how good that was, the powder. I don't know yet about the primer. This lip combo, amazing. I love the liquid liner. It is really good. But I also have some other liquid eyeliners that I really like that are a little bit more affordable, such as this one from Stands Out, my sparkly liquid liner. So I probably won't repurchase the Pat McGrath liquid eyeliner when it dries out, but it is really, really good. And I do recommend it if you are a Pat McGrath fanatic and you want to try the liquid liner. It's so good. Did I already say the lip combo? Love the lip combo. And this gloss is a recent purchase of mine as well. And the Blurring Under Eye Primer is another rediscovery that is just so good. The concealer is something else I definitely would recommend. If you do not own these products and you want to recreate this look, I normally say that it would be pretty easy to do that. And I think for most of what I've used, you can recreate this look using more affordable products. The only part of this look that could be a struggle to recreate with another brand or a more affordable product is unfortunately the eyeshadow, because these two shades are so unique. But let's help each other out in the comment section. If you know of any drugstore brands that have shades like that white glitter topper or the vibrant metallic gold with a little bit of a rose reflex to it, if you know of a shade like that, please let us all know in the comments. Hopefully that will help someone out who wants to recreate this look but isn't ready to spend $125 on an eyeshadow palette, which I totally understand. If you did enjoy this video, I always appreciate you giving it a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, I would love it if you would hit that subscribe button. I do try to upload new videos at least twice per week. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok under the same username, Risa Does Makeup. Thank you all so much for watching. Once again, I really hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you all in my next video.